So doctors and nutritionists will often tell us what to eat to lose weight or to avoid diabetes. But what about the effects of food on our minds? Because food really does affect mood. And maybe if you're at that point where you've tried everything, but nothing's working, and if you haven't already, you could try looking at your diet, because studies have shown that highly processed foods can lead to a 50% plus increased risk for mood disorders. And a paper by the US National Institute of Health said that there is consistent and positive effects of dietary changes on depressive symptoms. So it's time we stop thinking of the way we eat as important to only one piece of our health, but how it affects our emotions too. Because did you know that 95% of your serotonin is produced in your gastrointestinal GI tract, and your GI is lined with 100 million nerve cells or neurons. So it makes sense that the inner workings of your digestive system don't just help you digest food, but also guide your emotions. And your gut is also linked to your brain via what some say is the most important nerve in your body, the vagus nerve, because information and instructions are transported up and down your vagus nerve to and from your gut and your brain. And I've made a video all about this on one of the other videos, so check it out. And in 2014, a study called Brain Behavior and Immunity showed that patients with depression actually had a diet high in sugar, refined grains and red meat. So with all this in mind, what should we be eating to take care of and even boost our mood? Well, food can be confusing, but it's important to know about macronutrients, which is your protein, carbs and fats, as well as micronutrients, which are your vitamins and minerals. Because even the fittest people can sometimes only focus on the macros rather than the micros. So I'm going to be talking about 4 minerals and vitamins today in particular. And please note that I'm not recommending or advising on supplements of any kind, but rather how to achieve a balanced and nutritious diet for your mood using whole foods. So first up is magnesium, because studies have shown that magnesium may improve sleep, brain and nerve function, and deficiencies in magnesium can lead to tiredness, weakness, muscle cramps, and even increased irritability of the nervous system. So if you want to increase your magnesium intake, focus on eating things like nuts, leafy green vegetables such as spinach and kale, fruits such as figs, avocado and banana, and even a small amount of dark chocolate. The next food we'll talk about are foods rich in vitamin B, and there are actually 8 different B vitamins, all of which have different benefits and recommended daily allowances. But deficiencies in vitamin B can lead to fatigue, nausea, irritability or depression. So to add more vitamin B to your diet, try focusing on whole grains such as brown rice, barley and millet, legumes such as beans and lentils, seeds and nuts, and dark leafy vegetables. The next food type is those that include lots of zinc, because one study found that the more depressed a person is, the lower their zinc levels are. And zinc can be found in leafy green vegetables, edamame, legumes, tempeh, nuts and seeds, and even whole grains. Next up are omega-3 fatty acids, because mood disorders appear less common in nations where people eat large amounts of fish. So scientists have investigated whether oils or fish oils may prevent or treat these mood disorders and even postpartum depression. And omega-3 acids can be found in fish and other seafood, plus nuts and seeds. Lastly, the thing to remember is that junk and prepackaged foods should be avoided, because these foods contain chemicals and additives that can disrupt your hormones and the chemical balance in your body and your mind. So how do we know what foods to avoid? Well, if it has a food label and you can't understand what the ingredients are, or it can sit in your cupboard for weeks without going off, this food should be limited. For instance, you know exactly what fruits and vegetables are. You can name them, eat them directly, and they will go bad after a short time. However, those sugary jelly sweets or crisps you have in the cupboard could last for weeks if they were left, and they have lots of ingredients that you can't even name. And this shows that they have ingredients in them that aren't natural and are bad for you. And if you find it difficult to cut these foods out at first because you're used to eating them every day, one way to cut back is to reserve maybe just 1 day or 2 days a week for eating these things, which will at least reduce your overall intake of junk food for the week and really help before you can eventually cut them out altogether. So in summary, one way to look at nutrition is like code, because when we eat lots of vitamins and minerals, we are sending instructions to our bodies and our minds on how to function. And by choosing a diet full of natural and healthy whole foods, you are essentially giving your mind and body the best chance at feeling their best. So now we've been through all of the foods that you can eat to maintain a healthy mind. You might be wondering exactly how much of these vitamins and minerals you should be eating. Well, one way I track my micronutrient intake is to use a website called chronometer.com, and the link for this is down below. I'm not being paid to mention this at all, but it's just a website that's really helpful for me because it lets you input exactly what you're eating daily and then tallies up what you're getting in terms of nutrition. A lot of other people use myfitnesspal.com, and I have used that in the past, but the one thing I noticed is that Chronometer focuses a lot more on vitamins and minerals, which is what we're talking about today. So the good thing about Chronometer is that you can set it to your age and weight, and you can also compare the RDAs, or recommended daily allowances, with the World Health Organization website, which you're welcome to do, and you'll see that they're very close. So I really hope that this video helps you, and if you would like to know more about how I help people overcome self-criticism and negative self-talk to excel their mental and physical health, then book a strategy call with me using the link below.